Okay, welcome into KC Sports Tonight, Thursday, February 26th, aka our second to last streaming show before we're officially in March, coming up on Sunday. So, in honor of such, we are starting this off with a little mini bracketology, Big Dan's preview. Gabe, I know we talked about Mizzou's upset earlier this week, how big that was for their NCAA tournament hopes. I know a couple weeks ago I was not super optimistic we would be at their watch party come March, but CBS bracketology having them in at a 9 seed now. So, 2 weeks ago I think they were in that next 4 out, last 4 in bubble. Now you got a middle of the pack, which granted, 9 seed is not necessarily where you want to be if you're making a run at it, because you'll probably face the 1 seed in the second round. But Gabe, just your big picture thoughts maybe on where Mizzou is shaking out, where Kansas is shaking out, what you're watching for as we go into the final 2 weeks before Selection Sunday here.
Yeah, I think that the thing that people maybe forget about at times, or they overemphasize, is like the idea that teams are locked into a seed or 1 seed within that by this time of the year.
Sure.
Like, that is generally not true. And aside from the teams who have put together the resume that are worthy of a 1 seed, like the Michigan and Arizona and Dukes of the world, who they've won so many great games that even if they lose a couple down the stretch, their resume is so good, they'll still be a 2 seed. For the teams that are honestly 3 seeds and below, a 3-game stretch of really poor or really good play can bump you multiple seed lines in a way that people might not think of. So even though Mizzou might be considered a 9 seed at this point, that can move in a different direction. Like, if they lose out, they will be very much in danger of being a Dayton team or not making the tournament at all because of their non-conference schedule. And that is the thing that I saw someone on Twitter had a graphic of like classifying all of the teams, and it was like, you're a national title contender, you're a lock tournament team, you're probably in, just need a couple more wins, and then they got to like the Mizzou category, and Mizzou was categorized as in a decent spot. And I think that's the way to put where Mizzou's at this point. Like, they're in a decent spot. They don't have to do anything crazy. They don't have to do anything that I think that either of us would categorize as unexpected. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
It's all stuff that's reasonable. Like,
Yeah.
Win a home game against Arkansas, split Mississippi State and Oklahoma on the road, and win a game that you will be favored to win during the first game that you play in the SEC tournament. That's not asking them to take the SAT. It's a pretty simple quiz, I would say, in bracketology terms. So I think that they're in a good spot at this point.
Yeah, KU men also obviously in a very good spot, locked in at the 3 right now. If you look at CBS or ESPN's bracketology, I think that sounds about right. Chance to wiggle up a little bit. Certainly a win over Arizona on Saturday would help in that regard. Other than that, you have 2 non-starter resume boosters. I mean, they're not trap games, but you get nothing out of winning, and you would, kind of tank a little bit by losing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Arizona State and then K-State at home. Should be gimmies. But you go 3 for 3, and then you make a run in Kansas City. And I think we're talking about maybe bumping up to a 2. But, as you said, those teams kind of a little bit to gain over the next couple of weeks here. One team I really want to talk about is on the women's side. This is funny because maybe a month ago I was like, I might have been with you, it might have been with Mark, but I was taking stock of like, man, last year we had the K-State women, the Mizzou men, and the KU men in the NCAA tournament. So come March, we were very busy. We had a jam-packed Selection Sunday show. This year, I say this a month ago, kind of looking like we'll just have Kansas. Well, Mizzou men go on a big run. Kansas women also going on a big run right now. They've won 5 of their last 6. The one loss was to Texas Tech, who was ranked 16th in the country at the time. They lost by 5. And then they go on to upset Texas Tech yesterday, 68-59 at home on senior night. So now they'll head to Oklahoma State for their season finale on Saturday. And then Oklahoma State ranked 5th in the conference. They're 11-6, tied for 4th. Excuse me. So that's a tough one. That's on the road. Then it's going to come down to Kansas City. If the KU women can get to the semis, I know that's a big ask. I don't know if the quarters will do it. Right now they're listed as the next 4 out on ESPN's bracketology. I think that they're first 4 out, which is a big distinction. They're as the 3rd team out. So Arizona State.
When was that listed?
This morning.
Okay, because
I
was going to say because KU
Yeah.
won last night and Arizona State lost a game that they should have won against BYU.
Yeah. And here's another really good clincher if you're thinking about coming to the Big 12 Women's Tournament next week. The first 4 out, the first 3 teams are Arizona State, Utah, and Kansas. All of them are playing in Kansas City next week.
And we'll be playing early in the tournament games that are, you could almost say play-in games.
Yes, that's what it's become with the extended Big 12. Yeah.
Borderline elimination games, not necessarily win and you're in, but it's almost certainly lose and you're out. Types of things. So I think that's one of the more intriguing things. I don't know necessarily if the Big 12 really has any national title contenders in the women's side of things, but they certainly have a lot of teams that will be desperate to make the NCAA tournament and prove it in Kansas City.
Yeah, you have TCU, who's 11th in the country, and then it goes to Baylor 18 and West Virginia 17 as your top 3.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. I think it's one of those, the men's tournament will be fun because if you're a local fan, it's not going to be fun if you're a K-State fan, sorry. I mean, you'll see them one time and then we'll move on our merry ways. KU fans, again, we talked about maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room to get to the 2 seed spot. Maybe a day 1 loss would knock you down. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room there. Would it be fun to watch Kansas in the final? Yes. And you're going to have a lot of NCAA tournament champion contenders in Kansas City at one time. The different draw for the Big 12 women are you're looking at teams who are fighting for their postseason life. Either this is it in Kansas City next week, or one of these specifically 3 teams that we're talking about makes a run and punches their ticket, which I've mentioned this, but as someone who has played in the NIT, not a good time. You're like, that SpongeBob meme where Squidward's like watching all of his friends from the class? That's how you feel in the NIT. And you're like, I guess we're still playing, but I'm watching all my friends posting about their NCAA swag they're getting, and it's not the same. So anyway, should be a couple interesting weeks here, but Big 12 Women's Tournament next week. That's at the T-Mobile Center for the 3rd year now, maybe the 4th. I think it's 3.
Yeah, I think last year was the first year that the women were there.
I think 2nd, but it all time is meaningless.
I don't know.
It all blurs together. Anyway, then the men are after that in what is these next 2 weeks essentially going to be a giant rock concert of basketball in Kansas City with the new and improved entertainment arm, I suppose, of the Big 12. I'm excited. Katie Marr and Mark Palos, who are often on this show, are getting an up-close and personal look at the new court, the Big 12 court. On Monday.
Yeah.
Gabe, you and I have not talked about this, and I think it's a good talker. Your thoughts on the glass court?
Yeah.
If folks haven't heard, Brett Yormark, Big 12 commissioner, teased a big announcement, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. Following week, the Big 12 announces they're playing with a glass court in Kansas City that has some kind of lighting system.
It's LED lights on the floor.
Which I am assuming they're not using in-game. That's a pre-game thing?
No, it has.
That's horrifying.
It's going to be designed so that it looks. I don't know what they're going to use. I believe that they put out a photo as the preview of what the Big 12 court will look like.
With kind of the logos
and
flashing.
It looked similar. It looked similar to what they did 2 years ago, not the Louis Vuitton bag court of last year
that people hated.
But they also showed that the court can flash between all of the schools' courts to show that. I think that I can't say this because I'm not I'm not an event planner and I'm not planning the Big 12 tournament. But I would guess that they're going to change the LED floor to show whatever the home court is of each team as they're being introduced.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's just a thought.
I see the value of it for intros. I'm going to stop there. I said that as if there was going to be a list. Intros will be cool.
They claimed that they're going to be able to show like the made and missed shot charts. I would think at
cool.
halftime, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're there.
If you're there, yes. I think that it's one of those things where it's like once I'm actually there and I experience it, I will say, cool. Was it worth it? Okay, maybe. We'll see. I'm going to reserve my judgment till I get there. If I was, I will not be working on Monday. But if I was working on Monday, I would have been begging to go to this event with Mark and Katie because there's food testing for Big 12 Eats, and then B, we get to see this court. I don't know if they'll get to walk on it.
You know what I would have done? I would have pulled out here's my concern. I have many. And again, sure, I won't. I will not reserve judgment. I'm going to do it right now. I'm worried about the glass floor. Surely people smarter than I have tested this out, but
it's been used in FIBA before, so international competition.
Yeah. You see those sticky pads before you get onto the court. Like, there is something to be said about basketball shoes and the way they're built and the like, cleanliness you want onto the bottom of them to be able to sharp stop, which I know that works on wood floor. I do not know if it works on glass floor because I've never played on glass, nor have I outside of, I suppose, FIBA. And like the All-Star game, did they do that?
They used it in the NBA All-Star game in 2024.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the NBA All-Star game, so I don't recall.
And surely, I imagine that game would not be people going 110%, but we will see. It's interesting, and I'm more optimistic about it than I was looking at the optical illusion that was last year's court. I thought that was really atrocious, but got us talking about it the week before. So
and it's gonna have a spotlight on it because College Game Days come into the Big 12 tournament for the first time in
20 years.
20 years. First time ever in Kansas City. Yeah,
which I think that speaks to, Brett Yormark talks a lot about kind of, I think, integrating like culture and pop culture and like entertainment into college basketball, which is what it has moved to obviously in the last couple of years. And I think College Game Day is saying, one, that is one leg of it. Two, being this is the best conference in college basketball, obviously, and you're guaranteed probably a top 10 matchup on 2 Saturdays from now.
So. And Friday night at the Big 12 tournament is going to be probably two Elite Eight level games. If cross our fingers and hope that we get some version of KU, Arizona, Iowa State, and Houston playing each other. I know that March is all about upsets, but I don't need upsets in the Big 12 tournament. I just need the heavy hitters.
K-State, Iowa State on Friday night. Yes, I am with you. Kansas City has a unique positioning over the next couple of weeks to watch some really good basketball in both the men's and women's tournaments for different reasons we outlined. But yeah, you could be seeing an Elite Eight caliber game in Kansas City that Friday night, which should be a lot of fun. And you'll be seeing a first of its kind court in person, which again, I don't know.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm not optimistic, but maybe I am eating my words and it's the future of college basketball. Who knows? I feel like I come across old in my... It does seem expensive. It seems expensive. And it seems like it would benefit the people there. Yeah. Which in the grand scheme of things is not that many people. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. I guess we'll find out next week. But certainly add some intrigue to the whole layer. And you'll see it before everyone else does on Monday with Katie and Mark's coverage. So looking forward to that. Okay. Well, we've been jumping ahead to the Big 12 and the NCAA tournaments. But Gabe, big game on Saturday. Kansas at Arizona. Jayhawks taking the court in Tucson. Then they'll go to Arizona State, which Gabe was funny today. I don't know if you listened to Bill Self's press conference.
I saw a couple of the quotes. I didn't listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, he was asked about the Utah trip. Was it last year?
Yep.
That went so poorly. And he said, someone asked, like, well, what'd you learn from that trip? And he said, well, we're doing the exact, if we ate chicken that day, we're eating fish now. We're doing everything opposite that we did then with kind of a 2-game road swing. But Arizona needs to win 2 out of their last 3 to clinch the Big 12. The catch is that one of those is against Kansas on Saturday. Then they have Iowa State. Both those games are at home. We say this all talking about the Big 12 regular season title. Does it really matter who wins the Big 12 regular season title? Meh.
So that's a debate that I'd love to have.
Please. I'm curious.
I honestly think it's a short debate because it's, to me, the people who are like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore. Mm-hmm. It's the only reason that KU fans are comfortable saying it doesn't matter anymore is because they haven't contended for it the last 2 years. If they had
14-year streak,
it mattered for a long time, and I think
that was when you,
and that was double round robin, so everybody played everybody at home and on the road. I understand that the schedule is not even, the schedule is not fair. The fair is fair terminology. Me and Mark had a huge debate about it when the Royals talked about bringing the fences in. So fair is not always equal in sports, but winning a conference title matters. And I was talking to some friends about this last week, that the Big 12 now, you have a team that consistently won the American Conference. Mm-hmm. You have a team that consistently either won or was the second or third best team in the Pac-12 for a long time. And you have a team that, as we just talked about, won the Big 12 for 15 seasons in a row. Mm-hmm. So if you win the Big 12 regular season title now, you're borderline winning like a combined 3 leagues, like a super league.
Yeah, I can hear the 2018 didn't count.
So it just means something different.
Unfortunate guest. Yeah, it's all yours.
I tried to interrupt you guys when he was talking.
Do you want to come back onto the show?
Really
Wait,
so,
are you going to get in my shot?
What?
No. Okay, whatever. Neil's
so
here. You were saying.
Neil stopped by to interrupt, but I really just think that like winning the league title, if Bill Self and KU won it, he would talk about how insane it is. We saw him when they lost at West Virginia, and he called the league 5-letter word that I'm not allowed to say on air.
I didn't know what you were about to
go
past, I remember.
What I'm saying is he understands how crazy hard it is to win the league, and I think that it would be an awesome accomplishment if they had done it. I'm bummed that they had lost to Cincinnati, because otherwise this would be like a borderline regular season conference championship game.
Or harken back to TCU, not TCU, but West Virginia
and UCF.
Yeah, those are a couple you really wish you could have back.
There's all those kinds of things. It's still going to be a big game, a game that is worth watching, and I think that the craziest part about what's going to happen on Saturday is with Darren Peterson out there, it's a different matchup, and it's a different stylistic game than it was when KU and Arizona played the first time. And that night when Melvin Council goes 6 for 25 and you get a big Bryson Tiller game, and honestly Trey White didn't do very much, but Flory had a huge night. KU beat Arizona at home because of the crowd, because of all that. They beat Arizona at Arizona's game. I think both teams shot 5 of 15 or 5 of 16 from 3. So the 3-point line was essentially a net neutral. And I think if KU's going to win on the road, they have to have an advantage shooting the 3-ball. And Darren Peterson's a big part of that, because Arizona at home, they'll play at a quicker pace. But like we saw what Texas Tech was able to do in Tucson. If you can slow the game down a little bit and take Arizona out of their run and gun offensive rhythm, they like to just get a bunch of layups, get a bunch of quick shots, and try to wear you down. So I think it's the most interesting thing about Saturday is that this is not – it's a rematch of a couple weeks ago in a big game and one of the best games of the college basketball season, but it's not the same matchup. Mm-hmm. And if we were able to get this and then get a rematch in Kansas City 2 weeks later, that would be, to me, the perfect scenario heading into March Madness. But I don't know how – I don't necessarily think KU's going to win, but – it's one of those big games that I would think that Bill Self – I mean, we've seen crazier things than Bill Self stealing a road game that he's not supposed to win. And that's kind of – that was his signature for years and years and years. And I know Arizona's going stripe out this weekend. So
are they?
It's a big one that they've circled on their calendar for sure.
Yeah. Winning Saturday will not guarantee Kansas the Big 12 regular season title, but losing it will guarantee you don't have it. Okay, back to the conference championship debate. I don't even know where I stand with this. I'm just trying to compare it to like NFL. In that case, winning the AFC West like actually has postseason implications, other than like the resume booster, I guess, is what you could call the direct comparison. But when you're talking about like a one game back scenario, I don't know.
I mean, if you win the Big 12, you're probably a 1 seed.
That's fair.
That's the thing. If
you
win the Big 12 conference from this point forward with Houston, Arizona,
that's a good point.
Not only just this year, but in the years to come, if you win the Big 12, you're probably getting a 1 seed, and so that's why I would say that it matters.
So it's not necessarily. Yeah, I see.
You're not getting like home field advantage in the playoffs like in the NFL, but you are getting an intrinsic advantage in the postseason from a seeding standpoint. So
here's the thing though: if KU finishes one game back in the regular season, then they go on to win the Big 12 tournament. I would argue that we're in seed 1. However, Big 12 regular season is more of your body of work versus playing well over the course of 5 days. However, as you just talked about, the double round robin format brings another peg in that. Whatever. Wouldn't hurt. Anytime you got hats and t-shirts on the line, something that you're hyping the locker room to get. But bigger basketball to be played over the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Okay. 2 more quick things to get to. One is a story you're going to see at 6. Cassius Howell today, Texas A&M player from Bowling Green from Rockhurst High School. Hails from Kansas City. Ran a 4.6 for a defensive end.
That's fast.
Yeah.
For a defensive end, that's
Didn't
really
look fast. But yeah, it was funny. We were watching him. We were like watching the big guys compared to like the wide receivers and stuff is a very different.
It's different, but
experience.
it's like it's still way
really
faster than any of us would run.
Yes,
so.
at 300 some odd pounds, nonetheless. Good day for Cassius Howell. Which I'm curious if you even have an opinion on this, Gabe, but all the conversation around Cassius Howell this week, who is a projected first rounder, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, has been his. Do you know what I'm about to say? His arm length.
Oh,
he had the shortest.
I mean, this is the Ruben Bain conversation too.
Yeah. He had the shortest arm length of anyone in his position group at the combine. I was talking to Neil a little bit about this. Thoughts? I don't know enough about measurements specifically when it pertains to like success rate in the league. Like, surely knowing the Chiefs, like number staff. What am I trying to? Like the math,
the analytics, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
they have research and development.
Surely
people.
Something tells them that that's important. SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? I'm curious.
I think in general, drafting outliers from a negative standpoint, like physically, doesn't typically work. We also just watched in the Super Bowl Will Campbell get like abused at left tackle, and the one thing that people kept saying throughout the draft process was this guy has short arms and that's going to make it hard for him to play left tackle. Joe Thuney, one of the greatest offensive linemen of our generation, is an awesome left guard, and he's a very average or below average left tackle because he has short arms relative to left tackle, not relative to the general human population. And so it matters, but there's also certain things that you can be so elite at, like in the case of Ruben Bain, and Mark and I have discussed this plenty because he's the U alum. But when you're, I mean, there are ways to overcome it. Whether you are willing as an evaluator of talent, as a general manager, as a scout, to bet on someone who is a statistical outlier is up to you. It's your job. Are you willing to put your reputation and your livelihood on the line for someone?
We saw
in
what
this
the Chiefs
case?
did with Josh Simmons with, have 30 however many
that
teams
was risky.
Passing up because of their medical evaluations of his knee recovery, and his knee ended up being just fine, as we saw early in the season, specifically last year. A conversation I would love to have is with an NFL coach or analytics staffer who draws like absolutely no because of arm length, I'd be fascinated just to hear.
And yeah, and
given the rest of his resume.
And like what I haven't seen the rest of his testing scores and stuff. Like there's a group that puts together like the relative athletic score, the RAS, and it generates it based on all of the different categories you do. So it's your 40-yard dash, it's like your shuttle, all these different things. At defensive end, like I would probably care more about his ability to turn a corner than I do the arm length. But I am not an NFL scout. So
if an NFL scout is listening to this, help us please, because it genuinely has been such a loud conversation to where when I was looking up his results earlier today, that's the first thing that comes up is like draft stock tank. And also I'm like, did we not know this beforehand? Like this is a guy we've seen in the SEC for a couple of years. Anyway, more to come. But the story at 6 is Neil actually hung out with Cassius Howell's family at a restaurant in Kansas City. Desmond Moses, who is our Price Chopper game day analyst, is good friends with him from high school and the family, so he was there too. So you'll hear from Cassius Howell's grandma and his cousin about how excited they are. It's really sweet. It's fun seeing like the bright lights of the NFL Combine and then seeing like the tiny restaurant where the family is, watching and cheering and saying, I always knew he would do this. So anyway, 6 o'clock, that is coming up. And on the website later. Okay, last one. Gabe, real quick, we have like 1 minute. Carter Jensen hitting homer today.
And Jack Caglione had a big double.
Yeah. 3 RBI for the sophomore kind of duo here. So
yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
There
anyway.
You go.
Yep, okay.
Good sign from the young guys.
There you go. That's a more bow tie way to end it on. That'll do it for us. Same time, same place tomorrow here on Price Chopper Game Day. We'll see you on the news at 6.